Animals, they came up by threesies, threesies. Animals, they came up by threesies, threesies. Grizzly bears and chimpanzees, chimpanzees, children of the Lord. That is the end of the story, the end of story. That is the end of my story. Everything is hunky, dory, children of the Lord. The story of Noah's Ark teaches us many things. One being that God speaks to human beings. Genesis 6 through 9 tells us that the earth became wicked and was full of violence. Then we learn that God told Noah that the flood would be coming. In spite of all that, he still had hope and was willing to talk to us. And that's not all. God gave very specific directions about what Noah should do in preparation. Noah's Ark story teaches us also something important about obedience. After we learn all of the details about the ark, we are told in Genesis 6:22 that Noah complied and listened to God. The verse reads, Noah did everything just as God commanded him. Luckily, Noah listened to God. Many times we know what's right, yet we choose to do the opposite. In this case, ignoring God would have carried hefty penalties, as the situation unfolded exactly as God said it would. We also learn that in a chaotic culture, we can find favor in God. In these scriptures, Genesis 6 through 9, it tells us that Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. If we think we live in a chaotic culture right now, consider how bad it must have been back then. Yet Noah is described as being righteous, blameless, and faithful. Noah in Genesis is an example to us all when it comes to devotion to the Lord. The scriptures surrounding Noah's Ark story specifically say that he walked faithfully with God. This is a lesson to us all, the idea that it is possible to walk with God even when everything around us seems to be crumbling. So the summary of Noah's Ark, this story in scripture, is that God keeps his promises. When one examines Noah's Ark story summary, it's impossible to ignore the fact that God keeps his promises. Noah, after building the ark, filled it with wild animals and livestock and his family. The doors were shut and the waters came. After rain fell for 40 days and nights and the earth flooded for 150 days, God kept his promise to Noah. In the end, the story in Genesis 6 through 9 of Noah and his ark tells us that God keeps his promises and covenants. All we have to do as humans is trust in the same way Noah did. So go read the Bible. These stories are in the book. And maybe you can have a reading rainbow, the promise that God keeps.